The iconic character I'm about to create is the asshole in this interview. I am Pedro Pascal, and these are my iconic characters. The Good Wife. I think everyone kind of expected something that was titled The Good Wife to be this kind of schlocky, silly, soapy kind of thing, and then it turned into like 7 seasons of like the best network television that we've seen. I loved doing that show. I've been doing a lot of TV. It was maybe one of my first recurring roles. One of my first roles that became kind of recurring because I ended up doing 6 episodes of The Good Wife. I played like this asshole attorney, Nathan Landry, who was keeping Juliana Margulies' Alicia Florrick's husband, Peter Florrick, in jail. He was trying to get out on bail. This was like mid-first season.
Mrs. Florrick, I have one more question. Did you meet with a divorce attorney on February 23rd?
They didn't have sets yet, so we shot in a real Queens County courthouse. So they were night shoots because it was a functioning courthouse in Queens during the day, so the only time we could shoot the courthouse scenes in the first season was overnight. They actually had consultants, courtroom consultants, lawyers and stuff on set, and they would tell you you wouldn't really stand in this moment. It wouldn't be appropriate. You wouldn't approach the witness like that, and et cetera. So we were in really good hands. That show's amazing. It's one of my favorite shows. I continued watching it long after I was an afterthought. The Mentalist. There I was like the kind of like sad love interest. That was the first time I got to be like, let's bring somebody in so that people start freaking out that these two might not end up together. And then I made one of my best friends, Robin Tunney. She was kind of like the film indie queen through the 90s, and just so beautiful and such a good actress. And then we became such good friends. I love doing that scene with her. She's in a red dress and we're having dinner, and I'm asking her, it seems like on our second date, to move to Washington, D.C. with me or something.
I don't want you to go. I really don't.
What if you came with me?
What?
I'm asking, what if we went to D.C., you and me, together?
Moves fast. I move fast. We had our own like little theme music.
Just want to say that I know moving to D.C. is a big thing, and it might raise issues you don't feel totally comfortable talking to me about.
It was amazing. Game of Thrones, never heard of it. It's a little show called Game of Thrones. Let me explain it to you for those of you that don't know. Anyway, let's just end that joke there. Oberyn motherfucking Martell, man. The Red Viper, what do you want? Changed my life. They have the whole season. All the episodes are written and, scheduled based on location for it to shoot like a 10-hour movie. At least when it was 10 episodes in the 4th season. So it feels like doing a big movie, and basically you can shoot something in episode 7 and then go back to episode 2, and then, and that happened to mean for me, my big acting and dialogue scene with one of the best actors in the world on my very first day of shooting.
Ceci always gets what she wants. And what about what I want? Justice for my sister and her children.
Do I have to describe what that felt like? I was terrified, and it was amazing. It was just very surreal because I was also stepping onto the set of a show that I was obsessed with, and I was seeing, and we had a rehearsal, the day before, and Peter Dinklage, I've seen him on stage. He's an incredibly generous actor, so it was just like sitting down and doing a scene with a pro over and over and over and over again. When you see helicopter spin jumps about 6 feet in the air. That's not me.
You killed her children.
That would be Liang, who is a wushu expert and master and has gone on to do the Jedi fights in the Star Wars movies. But I did learn the fight. I did training in Los Angeles for a couple of weeks before going and shooting, and then throughout the whole shoot before getting to the fight, there were fight rehearsals and fight training and stuff like that. And it was very, very specifically choreographed. And if you see my face, it is me. Do you want to know how they did it? Yeah. He had tubing through his arms that would come out from his thumbs. So he's 7 feet, 420 pounds. When we were shooting, he might be big. He might, I think he could be heavier now. Because when we shot, he was the third strongest man in the world. And now he's the first strongest man in the world. So he, puts his thumbs over my eyes, and then they start pumping the fake blood. I got teeth made. Just so that if you got a flash of what my mouth looked like after my teeth got knocked out, like they're so meticulous, it's unbelievable. And then there was a cast of my head from shoulder, to top, or just a regular cast, and also one with like the frozen expression of absolute anguish. It was really funny because there were just things lost in cross communication in terms of. The UK and North America in terms of whether or not I had been cast in the part. And as far as HBO was concerned, it was official. As far as my agents were concerned, it wasn't. And so I was getting goop poured over my head, and they were casting my building my head to be crushed. And I was just like, did I get the part? Does this mean I'm doing it? It's kind of funny. Narcos. That was my first series regular role, of which I had been clamoring for so many years. I can't tell you. We shot the whole thing in Colombia. Even if there were scenes that take place in Texas or Miami or something like that, we found locations all around Colombia or in Panama. But all 3 seasons that we shot in Colombia. We all got started on it together. We were all part of the freshman chapter of season 1 in Colombia, and that meant so many things in terms of creating and inventing subtle or not so subtle details about the character. And
this is my partner, Javier Pena, who figured the best way to get inside narco information was to hang out with the same women they did.
How close were you with the real Javier Pena?
Pretty close. I met him before I met even my bosses. He was a great guy. He's just a really relaxed, easygoing guy. He's not expecting anything from you. He's not putting any kind of pressure on you. He doesn't want to insist on telling you, on giving you insights. He's just like, hey, what's up? I like Coors Light. What do you like? And it was funny too, because I was apprehensive about the training, and I found it intimidating, and I just was really nervous about the whole thing. And Boyd was like, we're going to go, we're going to Quantico, and we're going to do this. And I was like, do we have to? Javier Pena, he was like, when we were at Quantico, he was like, this is bringing up some intense memories. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, just, I don't know. It's intense. I was like, okay, I'm with you, man. I feel like there is a loner aspect to him that I could really connect to, because it takes place in the 80s. And all that 80s clothes just looks like, I look like I was playing dress up. I look like a kid. I look like a child. Like I just got lost in it. And I looked like a dork. And so I came up with this idea. I was like, let's just say Javier Pena is like Don Draper, in that the 70s is his, that was where he really found himself, and he can't really, and so he's stuck there. He's not throwing those pants out, he's not changing his hair, he's not changing his shoes. It's his time, and he's gonna look like that until the day he dies. That was my justification. Kingsman, the golden circle, to be in movies of this size, and Matthew Vaughn, he is such a an auteur and specific filmmaker because he's so specific and uncompromising about his aesthetic and what he wants it to, how he wants it, and everything. He's also a really fun guy to be around, and that was about, you know, him teaching me that I could actually do these things and play this kind of a character and do that kind of action and pull it off. It was not anything that I could imagine. Even after having done Game of Thrones, there was so much character and emotional history with a character like Oberyn, and with Whiskey it was just like flash, you know what I mean? And to sit at a table with Colin Firth and Jeff Bridges and Halle Berry and Julianne Moore is over there and Channing Tatum's over here, and you know what I mean? It just it's just like I had to stop myself from asking for autographs. There's this incredible lasso, whip, and gun slinging expert. He's the one who trained me and did the jumping through the, so that he, when you see the jumping through the lasso loop, that is Loop Rollins is his name, and he is actually doing that. He is doing all of that. He's boundless in his capacity to manipulate a whip, a lasso, and guns. Equalizer 2. I remember my agents were like, they want to know if you'd be willing to audition, and I was like, willing to audition to be in a movie with Denzel Washington, directed by Antoine Fuqua? You on crack? Absolutely not. Offer only. I auditioned my ass off for them. It's like, what do you want me to do, you know? And Denzel Washington is my movie star, you know what I mean? And not yours. Nobody else is mine. I just wanted to sit next to him, which I got to do, and more, obviously.
Second time you've ever had your eye couch.
That's right. I had to tell them, I was like, you know, this is referencing something specific. And they're like, what? And I was like, don't worry about it. Triple Frontier. To be a part of an ensemble cast with a bunch of dudes that are such good actors, and to work with, frankly, one of my best friends, with whom I did my first play in New York with 14 years ago. And we were doing this like really intricate car chase scene. And he's in the back of the pickup, and I'm in the driver's seat. I hear his voice behind my head, and he's like, here we are in an action movie together in Hawaii. And I was like, so crazy, you know? It's just so funny. I would have never been able to like compose that for my future. It's so weird. Catfish, that's who I play. I'm the pilot and the driver. I feel like I always get behind the wheel or in the cockpit. And somehow that told me the most about my character.
Fish, I need a pilot.
I got the new baby now.
This can change you and that baby's life forever.
Where he kind of sits back, he's a little bit more in the shadows, he doesn't have a lot to say, and then when it's decision time, you know, he steps up. Prospect. They're very visionary young directors, those two, Zeke Earl and Chris Caldwell. That was a really, really tough shoot, and it was worth it because of what they capture visually.
Is the spacesuit hot?
Yeah, it was miserable. I cannot tell you. This was not a big budget film, and I mean, we were all just, you know, we couldn't breathe. A huge challenge that was worth it to the visual experience of the movie, and be in those spacesuits, man.
Where are you from?
Nowhere.
How poetic.
The Queen's lair.
Where is it?
Drop it!
Now, this is something I have never seen.
I'm ready to like do something where like I'm sitting, you know, my character doesn't really get up from a chair or have anything to wear. Just listen.